Welcome to Paleobites, the podcast where both the discussed animals and the host's dreams died long, long ago. My name is Matthew Donald, and each episode I and a rotating series of guest co-hosts talk about and rate a genus of prehistoric animal, be it dinosaur, mammal, arthropod, and so on. This week I'm joined by the famed explorer of the what is that system called in Kerbal Space Program?
Kerbal,
the famed Kerbal explorer, Alan Brooks!
Hey everyone.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Nice,
good to hear. Well, I like to start off with each episode by asking my co-host a dinosaur-related question, and the one I usually start off with is, what's your favorite dinosaur? Not just the one that cried out in pain there. Not in pain, she was just irritated here.
Oh yeah, irritated little dinosaur.
Mm-hmm.
Picky little thing.
Little Lyra.
Mine isn't actually a species anymore, but I've always been very, very fond of Seismosaurus.
Seismosaurus! Oh, may it rest in peace.
What happened to that one?
It was realized that it was too similar, the remains that were identified were too similar to Diplodocus, that it's basically just a big Diplodocus. It's not really a separate species, it's just a Diplodocus.
Pity.
Yeah.
It had one of the coolest names.
How dare science go forth and, progress and such. We've lost a lot of good species like that. Remember, Supersaurus is still technically a species, actually. Seismosaurus. What else isn't? There isn't... Troodon, that's a big one.
Troodon's gone. They're trying to kill Dracorex.
I've heard Dracorex... We actually did... Well, I don't know if it's going to be in the same order, but my other friend of the show, and your friend as well, Lawrence and I, we did an episode on Pachycephalosaurus, which, either we did... I think it's going to come out after this. But basically we talk about how Dracorex and Stygimoloch might be the juniors of...
Juveniles
of Pachy. And there's actually a lot of damning evidence for it.
It is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
That'd be two species removed completely.
On the opposite note, there's a lot of species that, we think it's actually multiple continents, but it's actually different species. Like, Brachiosaurus is no longer found in Africa. Instead, the African version is called Giraffatitan.
Okay, I give them demerits on the point of not very creative. Seriously, you have a big long-neck species. Your first thing is to you name it after your other living long-neck species
from the same continent. Yeah,
it's like...
Well, what's really makes it funny is that most of our evidence of Brachiosaurus comes from Giraffatitan because that's the one that had the most complete skeleton. So a lot of depictions, like the one in Jurassic Park, a lot of depictions of Brachiosaurus are actually Giraffatitan.
At that point, I'd have to look at a map, but okay, that was Jurassic, right?
It was.
How was Pangea looking back then?
It was starting to separate, but it was. I think there was a young Atlantic back then. It was close. Probably could have walked still a little bit over it. I don't know.
Yeah, gotten washed over there in a big storm.
Yeah.
Oh well. That's what scientists are known for. They're known for splitting hairs.
Yeah, I know. The thing that people still won't let go is Pluto no longer being a planet, which I don't care. I don't mind. Yeah, it's the way you look at it. Either Pluto isn't a planet, or we have 50 planets in the solar system, because there's a lot of planets out there, or a lot of dwarf planets out there that are a lot like Pluto. So if you count Pluto, you have to count all of them too. So.
And you also get to count Ceres.
Yeah, Ceres, and you count, what's the other one? Makemake, you count, Eris, you count Sedna.
Eris and Sedna, yeah. Makemake?
Yep. It's spelled make. It's a real one. Orcus, that's another one.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. Eris even has a moon called Dysnomia, I think.
I remember
after the the Roman version of this, or something like that. I don't know.
Can I say I'm mostly interested in Ceres because it's actually closer? I mean, if you look at the planets, including all the dwarf planets,
yes,
then Ceres is just a little further past, past
it's
Mars.
It's in the asteroid belt, right? Yeah,
asteroid belt. Yeah.
Yeah. See, in this podcast, we don't just talk about dinosaurs. We talk about all sorts of science, and sometimes Disney Plus or Santa or pop culture,
etc.
Well, speaking of long necks, I was going to bring this up earlier, but then we started talking about other things, and that's okay. We're talking about another long neck, a quite spiky one at that. Amargasaurus. The La Amarga lizard is what it means. It's found in the La Amarga Formation in Argentina, which we'll get to. Argentina is quite a common locale for this show, actually. We've done Giganotosaurus, we've done Santana Raptor. Wait, no, that's Brazil.
Argentina's got a lot of good species. It probably is.
Yeah.
It's a lot like
Brachytrecolopan, we did that one. When I was
Wow.
in Argentina. Yep. So, anyways, speaking of Brachytrecolopan, it is also a dicrayosaurid sauropod, which is a group of sauropods that I wasn't really familiar with until studying for this. That's the thing about this podcast. Like, it allows me to learn stuff too, even though I know a lot about dinosaurs.
Yeah. Of course, it's a herbivore.
It is
fairly late Cretaceous.
Yeah. Oh, you're reading it now. Usually I read it. I sense a hostile takeover. I noticed though you missed the size. It's 30 to 33 feet long. This is why you leave it to the professional. No, it's fine. I don't know. There's no order to this show. 30 to 33 feet / 9 to 10 meters long. 2.5 to 3 tons. So it's big, but it's not that big for a long neck.
This is probably why I came up with what its most notable feature. You want to go on about that?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. First, Early Cretaceous, 129 to 122 million years ago. Argentina, there was just a beeping there. I would say silence your phone, but I didn't silence my phone either. So let's use this as an excuse to silence our phones here. Yeah. Described 1991, the year of our birth.
Yay!
It's as old as we are, give or take 129 million years. Pop culture references, briefly seen in Dinotopia, The World Beneath, and is also probably in Jurassic World the game. That's a running joke of this show. Everything's in Jurassic World again. Okay, so many times we like to imagine dinosaurs as covered in spikes, like a big lizard or dragon, but some might assume this is an exaggerated notion, as nature couldn't possibly come up with such spiky monsters. However, you know what happens when you assume, right?
Mm-mm.
You make a sum out of ass and E. That's how that saying goes, right?
Oh, wow. I actually heard that one before. I'm surprised.
Hold on, let me do it. Okay, yeah. So anyways, enter Amargasaurus, the spikiest long-necked dinosaur we know of so far, with 2 parallel rows of tall spines all the way down its neck and even up its upper back. It's quite spiky, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, very spiky. Though, it could be a frill like the famed Spinosaurus and Dimetrodon.
I talk about this.
Dimetrodon is not a dinosaur.
Yes, Dimetrodon's not a dinosaur. Thank you. You know your stuff. I mean, that's a pretty basic one, but I'll take whatever I can get.
I'll take the kudos.
Yes, you still get your kudos. Anyways, I actually talk about the fact of it being a sail, though. But we'll get to that. The tallest of these spines, the one in the middle part of their neck, could reach a whopping 2 feet long. Definitely someone who couldn't wear turtleneck sweaters, that's for darn sure.
Well, I'd hate to see the bill for trying to make a turtleneck sweater that long. Even for some of the smaller ones, it's like, oh yeah, you got 20 yards of cloth for making a turtleneck.
Well, I always imagine turtleneck sweaters kind of be like made of wool, so how many sheeps have to die for this thing?
Well, that's the cool thing, you don't have to kill sheep for their wool.
Oh, you know? Oh, that's true, you don't. You're right. Never mind then. Yeah, you would know. You've been on a farm before.
Been on a sheep farm. That's a lot of sheep.
Yeah, you've been on a sheep farm specifically. You've been on cow farms.
Small divergent.
Yes.
If you've ever read any Christian religious text and they get referred to you as sheep, that is not a compliment. Sheep are the dumbest thing are probably one of the dumbest species on the planet, and they do not have chickens. Well, chickens are also very stupid, but they have really good survival instincts.
Right.
Sheep have no good survival instincts, and they are dumb.
I don't think anyone, regardless if it's from a religious document or not, considers calling someone a sheep as a compliment, though.
No.
So, usually when you say you're a sheep, it's like you're a mindless follower. So, indeed. Anyways, some depictions suggest the spines of Amargasaurus, as you mentioned, support a set of fin-like sails, which is definitely a cool look, and is also how it looks in Dinotopia: The World Beneath. That's how he depicted it. But, alas, scientists had to be all practical and boring, and not favor such a depiction, since the sails would have reduced neck flexation.
That's a very good point.
So, instead, it's now more widely assumed the spines were covered in a keratinous sheath that extended the length of the spines in real life, so it could even more compensate for something with these things. Yes, Lyra, you have very good insight, don't you?
Yeah. But I'm also thinking, especially one of the things that convinced me that makes that seem so much better is the idea that the largest spines are in the middle of the neck.
Right.
And
yeah, they're not. Yeah.
Which would make it some kind of defense.
Well, yeah, exactly. No, like it definitely could be defense. Well, yeah, so like that's actually what I mentioned here. Like any of the times they find such peculiar structures in the anatomy of a prehistoric creature, many theories have been stipulated as to what the heck these spindly thingamabobs were for. The most commonly supported theories are for display and for protection, which makes sense. See, most predators tend to go for the head, and that's where the instant kill button of most animals is located.
Absolutely.
So Amargasaurus would just lower its head and shove all its spikes in the predator's faces, which is very unappetizing.
Very unappetizing. Very hard to have a good appetite when you open your mouth expecting something nice and juicy, and all you study is you get some free toothpicks.
It's like a porcupine, kind of, except not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Porcupines are dangerous. They probably got one of the best defenses for such a small creature.
Most well-defended rodents. Armadillos aren't rodents, right?
They may be.
I think they're related to, like, sloths, and, like, they're kind of that weird South American family.
Okay.
I don't know. But that'd be funny, because that would mean that those glyptodonts are big rodents. If they are rodents. I don't think they're rodents, though.
I'd have to look that one up. Maybe we'll put that one on a later day.
Hey, yeah, no, the glyptodonts, yeah, the Didicurus is the biggest one, yeah. So, in conclusion, as it seems with a lot of dinosaurs, the spikier the better. So why don't birds have spikes, I wonder? Lyra, why don't you have spikes?
Spikes get in the way of flying.
Yeah. Like, there's a great horned owl, but it doesn't have horns. It's just called that because of the tufts of feathers.
Feathers.
Yeah. Lyra, could you, I'm going to interview you. Why don't you have spikes? I was hoping to make you talk more with that. There we go.
I think she's content with a very sharp beak.
That's true. That beak is quite sharp. It's been kind of hurting there. Lyra. Alright, well, now that we've talked to death about Amargasaurus, except not really, but I'm sure there's more I could say. I don't know, it's an interesting sort of creature. It lived at a time where there were a lot of predators. It lived earlier than Giganotosaurus, though, so thankfully it was safe from that.
Of course. But Giganotosaurus didn't come from anywhere, come from nowhere, and so there's probably some very large, very nasty predecessors, so Amargasaurus decided, let's go down the porcupine route. What the heck is a porcupine? And decided to incorporate the spikes, especially on one of its most vulnerable spots, the neck.
Right. So the predators would have to attack from behind in order to get it,
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny.
Attack from behind where it can nail you with the tail, or attack from the front and find it difficult to try and bite down. Attack the center where it will laugh at you, even for a small sauropod.
Yeah, well, like, that's where all the organs are, I guess, but you have to get through all the legs and, like, all the other stuff.
Get past the legs, have to injure it hard enough, because even as a small sauropod, small sauropod does not mean small.
Right. Why can't we have a dinosaur with all the bases covered? Why don't we have a sauropod, a dinosaur with the neck of Amargasaurus, the tail of Stegosaurus, and the body of Ankylosaurus?
Why wouldn't you go Ankylosaurus from the neck down?
Oh, I guess that's true. I guess I just wanted more spikes. Ooh, let's go even further. The tail of Kentrosaurus and the head of Amargasaurus.
Though if you're doing that, I'd actually put the back and have it be not. It's the other family. There's the Ankylosaurus and the Notosaurus. Like a Notosaur.
Yeah, but then there's no spikes there. I'm just talking about spikes. This is like a real
spikes. Isn't the
prickly.
Notosaur the one with the
they usually have shoulder spikes. Oh, I guess I could do that in the middle. Is what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the middle is the Notosaurus.
Kind of like make like the spike go along the top, go along flatten, up.
Okay, yeah. If we want the spikiest dinosaur in existence, you guys, the neck of an Amargasaurus, the back of a Kentrosaurus, and let's do like the center of a gigantic Spinosaurus. Those were big shoulders. This thing, maybe if you turned it over onto its belly.
And even then, there's no small feat, contrary to what I think Jurassic World would say. Oh yeah, you just take a Ankylosaurus, flip it on its back.
Hey, to be fair, Ankylosauruses they had unarmored bellies.
True.
So
but at the same time, it's like, oh yeah, let's just grab him with my arms and flip him over. You betcha that thing would say, nuh-uh.
Well, I think what it did...
no about as hard as a kid 2-year-old trying to brush his teeth.
I think more what it did, it's clawed at the hips and clawed at the thighs and caused it to cut, slash at it, so it caused it to stumble onto its side, and then it pushed it over. That's what it did.
I need to watch the movie again.
Yeah, it's a good movie. I know you've been kind of about it lately, but you like it still, right?
Yeah.
I'm an apologist for the Jurassic World movies. I really like them. I really like Fallen Kingdom. I like Fallen Kingdom more than Jurassic World. because it's just a really good continuation of the series and moves it in a new direction. And it's also it's not like the Last Jedi thing where it moves the franchise in a new direction by disrespecting what came before. No, Fallen Kingdom moves it in a new direction while simultaneously honoring what Michael Crichton is always trying to say with the series. Like, the dinosaurs will get on the mainland. The dinosaurs will be a big problem. The dinosaurs, it's all exactly what he was going for. Just in sort of new ways, so...
Yeah.
Anyways, Amargasaurus. Now we're at everyone's favorite part of the show. I don't know. I don't think so, actually, but I just like to say it.
I do apologize.
Okay.
It's a fun time.
Where we rate the animal 1 out of 65 million. For any reason, including, mana, dexterity, sexiness.
Yeah, as appearance goes, having a bunch of spines in your neck, not very attractive. Very good defense. Not super...
I don't know, if you like a good feather
big.
boa sort of thing, but it's kind of like that, except spikes instead of fluff.
A porcupine feather boa. That's all I can think of.
Ouch. Okay,
Yeah.
no, okay, I don't think okay, I don't know, I'm gonna give it 35 million. Like, other than those...
thinking around there.
Other than the spikes, it's not really anything notable. Although the spikes, it's like a one-trick pony,
One-trick pony, Small sauropod spikes on the neck. Not a bad move, evolutionarily speaking.
Yeah, I'm sure it worked. I mean, it lived, was it 129, 122 million years? It lived 7 million years. That's all right.
Not bad. Longer than we.
I think it's like the
humans have
average
been around.
genus. Yeah. I would be amazed if humans lasted another 7 million years.
Yeah. I would put it at about a 40 million, because as much as it is just kind of abstract, it had a really clever strategy, like I said.
Mm-hmm.
Body's too big, the tail is a weapon, and now the neck is just unappetizing.
Yeah, exactly. Ooh, there's some sauropods that we found out recently, like Mamenchiosaurus as well as Shonosaurus, they have tail clubs. What if you combine those two things? That's not...
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I'd call it more of a tail flail, because
Right.
tail club indicates short and stocky. This is long with a really small tip, but that may make it like the closest prehistoric equivalent to a sling.
Yeah, exactly.
And we know how Goliath handled that one.
Right, exactly. I guess for my hypothetical creature of head of neck of Amargasaurus, back of Kentrosaurus, body of Gigant Spinosaurus, that's like a 650 million. It breaks the scale tenfold.
Yep.
But alas, it does not exist. So anyways, alright, well that's it for this week. If you want to get a hold of the show, you can contact us at mattsd@matthewdoncreator.com, and you can find me on social media at MatthewDonCreator on Facebook, at MatthewDon64 on Twitter, and MatthewDon64 on Instagram. You can contact me, you can contact Alan here, ask him how to survive the scary unknown world of Kerbal Space Program, and what is the best rocket to build. I'm sure you have some stuff to say, don't you?
I do. But this is a dinosaur podcast, and I like dinosaurs.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you like dinosaurs. I've even brought people who don't like dinosaurs on here, though. But I just, dinosaur. Everyone likes dinosaurs. Some people just don't admit it.
Nope.
That's what I think. I don't think there's anyone there that actively dislikes dinosaurs. They're like, oh, I can't stand dinosaurs. I just think you either like them or you're just not interested in them. No one actively dislikes dinosaurs. I don't think. I don't know, maybe some people do. Anyways.
That's an approval rating that most people cannot even dream about.
Exactly. If you're interested in writing, you should listen to my other podcast, The Rich Wits, where two twits talk about writing. Me and one of our both dear friends, Matt David, is what I call him on the podcast. He's really Matt Seibert. Finally, if you're interested in reading some dinosaur sci-fi, and you're like, where the heck has dinosaur sci-fi been all these years? I haven't found any. Guess what? I got one for you. It's called Megazoic. It's available on Amazon for print and Kindle. You've read some of it, right?
Awesome series.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad you enjoy it. All right, well, that's it for this week. And as I say at the end of every episode of Paleo Bites, spike, slash, ah! You got any noises? Okay, it sounded like a foghorn on a ship, but
What do
okay.
you expect it to sound like? I doubt it's going to be saying slash.
Yeah, no, it's going to say slash, while actually mouthing slash.